Our first movie of the night, we are going to be talking about Miracle.
Yes, Miracle. A movie that I had sort of heard about in passing before. I hadn't realized it was a Disney movie, and I also hadn't realized that it wasn't actually a movie from the 80s.
Uh, it was a
Because I
movie
kind of
about
heard,
it was about the 80s, yeah. But yeah,
right,
it's
I'd
like,
heard about it spoken about as if it were a contemporary of things like Rudy or whatnot.
oh yeah. Yeah, this is a movie that I actually saw this in the theater when it came out. Because at the time, this came out like what, 2004, 2005, somewhere around there.
2004. Yep.
2004, yeah. Yeah, so at that time, I and the rest of my family were really big hockey fans. We're mainly the Colorado Avalanche because the year we moved to Denver was also the year that they moved to Denver. And so in their first year there, they won the Stanley Cup. So we really got into hockey, and so
And the
then we
Canadians are going, but you guys don't even care about that sport.
yeah. Yeah, but yes, yes, there might be some bad blood there. But anyway, but yeah. So one of the aspects of the game was of hockey was the story about the 1980 U.S. men's hockey team in the Olympics. The great, as they call it, the Miracle on Ice, when a bunch of upstart underdog, this underdog team of college age kids or going up against the formidable Soviet Union, who were at the time they were the best hockey team in the world, and they beat them and beat them in America. That was the big thing because the Olympics were in Lake Placid that year, and so it just became it was a big inspirational story, not just in the sports world, but in like the history of the country, history of the world, because at that time America was going through a really rough time.
Right. You had Watergate, pulling out of Vietnam, stagflation, the oil embargo,
Yeah,
just a general, what our former president Jimmy Carter would refer to as malaise.
malaise, yes, and a crisis of confidence. Which I remember sitting in the theater when that part of they played that speech in the opening credits of the movie, and my dad leaned next to me and he said, "Yeah, he really said that." Hey, Arcos, good to see you.
Hello.
This and the Mighty Ducks movies are some of the best sports movies ever made. I don't even care about hockey. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would, for me at least, I would put it in my top sports movies. Although DB you seemed more lukewarm on it, I think.
Yeah, I'll admit that. So let's talk about the cast a little bit before we get into that.
Okay.
The so the so this was Walt Disney. Was this a Touchstone picture, or had they dissolved it by this point?
I think they'd almost dissolved it, all but dissolved it by this point. No, it was a straight up Disney movie.
Okay, because
We watched it on Netflix, so that might be the confusion there.
right, it is unusual that they would license that out outside of Disney Plus or Hulu or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, the big get, of course, is Kurt Russell
Yeah.
uh, as the cantankerous coach who had been at the 1964 Olympics, 60 Olympics,
60.
60,
Yeah.
and had gotten eliminated and didn't get to play.
Yeah.
Um, and so ever since then, he's had this burning desire to go take a team to the Olympics and win.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Disney probably played up a lot of that stuff for the movie. I do know that because I mean, if you're interested in the story of the team, like there are plenty of documentaries out there you can watch. Actually, ESPN for their 30 for 30 series, they actually did two documentaries. They did one from the Americans' perspective, and they actually did one from the Soviets' perspective. And those were really good. I thought those were very well made. But the whole thing with Herb Brooks, who's the coach, I mean, his goal when he was coaching, when he was putting the team together, was putting a roster together that of guys that could beat the Soviet Union. That was his main thing. Because he knew the only way they could win a gold medal was they had to beat the Soviet Union, and that team was put together specifically to beat the Soviet Union. And if I remember right, he was a bit of a hard ass with them for most of it.
Yeah, as he's portrayed in the movie, he's kind of a monster.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever really went that far. He might have. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, there were points in there where like, yeah, that he was really just, yeah, going a little overboard. Especially
Like hours of drills.
Right. Yeah. Well, the famous scene in the movie when they're playing Norway in an exhibition game and they tied with them. And he got ticked off with him, so he made him skate up and down the ice for hours after the game.
Yeah, a little crazy.
Yeah, a little crazy. Yeah, and good to see you, Ninja.
Hey, Ninja.
Yeah. I will say that, yeah, some of it was probably, like I said, the movie is a bit Disney-fied in terms of, like, if you've watched enough Disney sports movies, they all kind of have like a feel to them, and there's a little bit of that with this movie. And of course, okay, so the another hey man, good to see you. What's the language though? We have to. I'm sorry, man. I gotta delete that comment. I can't. Gotta no language, no foul language in the comments, please. But
oh my.
Yeah. By the way, mods, if you ever see anything in there like that, just go ahead and get rid of it. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the guys who were playing the players.
You were saying they were mostly like real hockey players, right? It's not so much actors as
right. Yeah. They were actual hockey players. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they weren't actors. Yeah, there a lot of them. I think at the time they were all like college hockey players. And but I will say a couple of them were actually real actors, like the guy who played Jim Craig, who was the goalie. He was on CSI New York.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one of the other players, the guy Ralph Cox was the name of the player, but the actor's name was Kenneth Mitchell, and he was a professional actor. But other than that, like, I think most of them were all played by just straight up hockey players. So that might make the performances are a little stilted in a few places.
Yeah, the script is also a little bit stilted too, just in the sense that there's a lot of tell, don't show in some of the dialogue.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like especially like say the scenes between the coach and his wife were all like just very people stating their emotions clearly.
Yeah. Well, although I will say with those scenes, like being a coach at that level, whether they're coaching in the Olympics or like collegiate coaches or professional coaches, they like their personal lives, their family dynamics are like that's kind of how they are. You know,
Right.
they
Oh no, I see. Here's the
no,
thing.
no,
I wasn't disagreeing with like him being a bit distant and preoccupied. Like that made perfect sense.
oh, okay,
It's more just like, honey, did you not understand what you were signing up for?
yeah, right, yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's working towards his life goal at the moment, and
yeah. You're pestering about him about picking their son up from hockey practice.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but you're just saying like, well, we should have like, well, we should have talked about it or whatever. Yeah, yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Now, as far as I actually like some of the hockey players. I kind of wish we had some more scenes with them interacting because some of the rivalries there were my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so the team that Herb Brooks puts together was filled with mainly guys from Minnesota and Boston. And if you know anything about hockey, uh, you talk about two parts of the world and in that sports world that don't like each other.
Yeah, and a bunch of goon squads, which means something very different in hockey.
Yes, it does. Yeah. uh, but but yeah, but I will say like, well, the best part of the movie though is when they finally get to the Olympics and then they're playing, then they play this, they get to the big game against the Soviet Union, which, of course, the fact that it was, that game was broadcast live, they were able to, they had a lot of material to work with there. They had no excuse for being inaccurate with that.
Plenty of reference material.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
that actually might be part of the movie's problem, is that there was just so much reference material in terms of like, all the games that they played, and the fact that like I think pretty much everybody on the team when they made the movie from that team was still alive when they made the movie. And when they would have been like in their 40s and 50s.
right. Although the coach apparently died after principal photography wrapped up.
Yeah, that was weird. He fell asleep while he was driving.
Oh,
Yeah. I remember when it happened. Yeah, it was one of those freak things. And he wasn't very old either. I want to say he was like 60s, I think.
that would track with what we were seeing.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the overall, I think the movie's. I enjoy the movie. I think it's a good movie. Although I would highly recommend pairing it with a documentary about the team. That way, you've got some really good reference material for this movie, and
Right.
it's
Who's who at the zoo?
right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like I mentioned before we got started with it, I kind of had a lot of my spare time eaten up over the weekend, and last night unintentionally. So I was kind of up against the wire to watch the show in time, since
Mm,
I do have a dirty day job.
yeah.
So that was almost certainly impacting my enjoyment of it because it turned into a chore rather than an exploration.
Mm,
So, um, yeah, like, just for whatever reason, it didn't grab me. And I like sports movies. This one didn't quite. It just felt very simple or very generic. It can make me think of like a streaming or a TV movie,
mm,
um, in terms of like the dialogue and writing and everything. So, but I can't say it's awful or anything. It just didn't grab me under the
yeah.
specific circumstances with which I watched it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
so,
gotcha.
so I think I don't have a particularly noteworthy opinion on it besides it isn't enough to overcome a bad day.
Mm. Yeah. All right. That's I completely understand. Yeah. I guess with me, it's just, I mean, I know so much about you know, I know, I know about the story of the team, and
Yep, I
it just,
right, and I probably watched the Fat Electrician video on it like 2 years ago or something. So
yeah,
definitely not fresh on my mind.
yeah.